What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. I just wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about how to be sure you are ready to compete. And, that is such a vague question because it is very individual. But I wanted to share a little bit. So I had one of my calls tonight where I'm teaching for my Posing Win shows, all the athletes that I'm working with for their posing for the all our shows that are coming up this year. And so we have our weekly class that we just finished tonight. And I asked that question because I had a call the other day with somebody who was asking, can I wait to start my posing? Is it a good idea? Maybe something a little bit shorter term. And I just thought for a second, and I shared that with my group tonight on our posing class, and it was just a uniform response of, in fact, one of them responded and said, I wish I started 6 months ago. And wow, I was just like, pause for a moment there. He wishes that he started 6 months ago. And when you think of contest prep, I'm sure when you saw my title, you probably were thinking your physique. You're probably thinking your diet and your training only, and how important that is for preparing for a show. And it is. I mean, it's kind of a given that your body needs to be in shape for the show, hands down. It absolutely matters. But I think the part that a lot of people forget about is the importance of your presentation, but don't realize just how long that takes. And not everybody starts at the same place. A lot of people, when they start posing, they don't make the shapes at all like they're seeing in the YouTube videos, or they go to a clinic and they're like, okay, this is what you're supposed to look like. And they don't look like anything like that. And some of the people that are part of my curriculum, they don't have those shapes. So what I do is I have to completely unwind them and start from a foundational standpoint to get them to where I want them to be. And that takes so much more time, and that is completely underestimated. People that are getting ready for a show this year, if you're not preparing right now your physique, you're not going to be ready. I had another competitor I was chatting with who was getting ready for a show, and she backed out because her physique wasn't budging. So would you ever consider backing out of a show because your presentation wasn't ready? Think about that for a second. Your presentation and your actual physique, the conditioning that you bring to the table, the muscularity, all of that you bring to the table, everything matters. But think about that for a second. If your presentation isn't ready, that could literally make or break your placement. I've had judge shows where even pros, I had to judge them down because they couldn't, for example, open up their lats. And that was a big no-no. So I had to mark them down. And that is a mistake, especially as you get to the pro stage. It is totally unacceptable. But as an amateur, especially as you're getting into this is completely new. These poses are just so awkward, aren't they? They look nothing like what you're doing in everyday life. And it takes a lot of time to get there. And then it's not even just the posing, but it's also especially if you're wearing heels and you don't wear heels every day, you have to walk out on stage and you actually have to make it look good. And guys, there's a lot of the poses where balance is important. So those things take time, and I think that's a huge part of the show prep that is underestimated, is that a lot of people just focus on their nutrition and training, and they think, well, I'm going to back out of a show because my physique isn't on point. But they forget the fact that how you present yourself on stage is equally as important as the package that you bring to the stage. And even something as simple as your tan, your makeup, all those things, they all matter. Your suit should fit. A lot of times I've seen people on stage where their suit is falling down. The men's board shorts, and they're hanging off of them because they bought them 8 weeks ago and they lost weight. So they get up on stage and they're presenting, just a really awkward shape because where the suit is falling, it just doesn't flatter them. So that is just being unprepared. So how do you know if you're ready? That you need to know that you're able to do these poses in your sleep. You also need to be able to feel comfortable making the shapes that are required for your division, your federation. And that all starts from foundational work. It starts from the very, very beginning, which is why I have a clinic coming up April 2nd, which is next Saturday. If you're in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, you're within a few hours of Connecticut, which is where the clinic is being held, you got to be at the camp. You got to be at the clinic. You want to work on the foundational work. You want to work on other presentation components that you're not going to learn at any other clinic. This is a very specialty clinic, and that's why I'm hosting this, because your foundational work is extremely important to learn far before your show day. And what you do now should be worked on. If you're competing in the fall, you should be starting now. If you're thinking next spring, you should be starting now. You know, there's people that are like, oh, wait, oh, wait, oh, wait. If you're working on your physique, you should be working on your posing, and you will get rusty even as a veteran. So again, this clinic, ltpclinic.com, if you go there to get a ticket and you grab a ticket, I have a special bonus that if you grab a ticket before Sunday, March 27th, you're also going to get a free posing evaluation with me, a virtual posing assessment with me, which is huge because I'm not doing any more one-on-one assessments or clients, none of that anymore. So you have an opportunity to get that one-on-one critique with me. So if you book your ticket by Sunday, ltpclinic.com, then you will get that extra bonus. So I hope to see you at the camp, the clinic that is, I keep saying camp. I hope to see you next week. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced before. You're going to learn some really awesome things, some awesome foundation work. So I hope to see you, ltpclinic.com. Have a wonderful night. And remember, start now. It's never, ever too early, and it will always be too late.